The wine industry is in the shit right now, and it's not everyone's fault. But for some reason, I keep hearing from winemakers and CEOs, sales reps and merchants that it is Gen Z's fault. Which makes no sense to me because I've interacted with you guys and I can't think of a better potential customer for wine. Let me explain. The wine industry hasn't been doing so well, which is funny when you think that it is the oldest beverage next to water. It has existed for millennia, but right now, it's not doing too hot. And that has to do with several factors. I mean, to start, one that I think we can all relate to is that it's expensive. And the economy is not doing too great. It's a luxury good that you don't need to survive. So it's easy to take out of the budget. Okay, wine, not a necessity. But even if you do enjoy the occasional glass, there are a lot of health and drinking trends right now that suggest you shouldn't consume any alcohol whatsoever. Despite this one right here only being 13% alcohol, that's about this much. The rest of the bottle is water and esters and anthocyanins and polyphenols and all sorts of other beneficial antioxidants, but that 13% of alcohol right there puts it in the same category as buzzballs or Hennessy. So people have a less positive perception of wine right now. But the reason why winemakers and so many people in this industry blame Gen Z is that you guys are the new market. You're the new drinkers. And unfortunately, the industry that I'm in has no idea how to market to you. Even the companies that I see creating brands specifically for Gen Z are doing so in the most obnoxious and offensive way. They've essentially turned wine into brain rot.
Ow! Why is it so tall?
They are TikTok-worthy labels. And inside these bottles, the juice, the quality of wine is subpar. So they're not giving you the best examples of proper wine on top of that. You're being undermined, and if I was you, I would be pissed. I'm not you, and I'm pissed. Because now, your generation has a very poor perception of wine as far as a tasty beverage. But there's more to the marketing thing. See, I have had the privilege of serving wine for many of you. And anytime I am tableside or in a shop, wherever I am discussing wine, you guys are wonderful. You're inquisitive. You're asking all the right questions. You want to consume wine for all the right reasons, not just to consume alcohol or to catch a buzz. You want to know why it tastes the way it does. What winemaking techniques were there? What's the growing region like? What does this pair with? And that's the thing about wine. For your generation and all their ADHD and weapons-grade autism, this is the perfect subject for you. Because you get to learn about culture, history, science. You end up learning about meteorology and geography and a lot of times cooking, because what's the point of a good glass of wine without a nice meal to go along with it? If not a nice meal, maybe a bag of salt and vinegar chips. Wine as a luxury good or a product for the aristocrats is only a recent development. For God's sakes, peasants were nearly required to drink wine because they didn't have access to clean water. So the plot thickens with Gen Z and their wine drinking habits, or lack thereof. I know that when I sit down with you, you are excited to consume whatever I'm recommending because I've prepared you for an experience, and hopefully, in how I've described the wine, you end up knowing what you're getting into and therefore enjoying it a lot more easily. But for some reason, people in my industry these days, whether they're in distribution or direct-to-consumer sales, I find people are becoming more and more lazy. They're used to selling wine to people just like themselves and therefore need very little explanation as to what it is or why you should buy it. Which brings me to cost.
I'm a baby, I have no money. I can pay you in blocks.
Wine isn't cheap, and if it is, it's kind of sketchy. I digress. Because the one thing that I can do for you, at least right now, is recommend a nice round $15 bottle of wine, which is right in front of me. Route 1 is a producer in Chile in a place called Maipo, and they have vineyards throughout Chile's wine regions. Everything is considered estate grown, meaning they grow the grapes themselves to produce the wine. They are not buying juice and grapes from other people, so there is a lot more attention to detail that goes into this wine than, say, a magnum of Gallo Moscato. No shade on Gallo. Partial shade on Gallo. Anyways, it's also grown sustainably, which a lot of wines are these days. But the reason why that's important is they're taking care of the land in the process of growing these vines. They're not nuking the vineyards with pesticides. And so for $15-ish, what do you get? In this particular wine, it is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Carmenere, and Syrah. What I enjoy about it is that it tastes like where it's from. There are a lot of wines that don't naturally taste the way the winemaker wants them in the vineyard, and so they tend to be pretty heavily adulterated in the winemaking process to change what they taste like. For me, this tastes Chilean, and by that I mean you get an abundance of these fruit and floral characteristics, those that are pretty universally pleasurable, but it's balanced out by a nice little herbaceous characteristic, what oftentimes people describe as the sweet smell of sauteed red bell pepper that you would get on your fajitas. Then it has that nice subtle minerally nuance that just reminds you that this is wine. It came from a pile of dirt. That's not the best way to put it, but for me, I enjoy having multiple characteristics in a wine and not just a single fruit flavor from beginning to end. And I'll let you know, I am not sponsored by these guys. I am very familiar with them and the parent company Ventisqueros. I have gone to their wineries, I have seen their vineyards. It's a really nice product for the price. And I think a good introduction to Chilean wine. They also make a Sauvignon Blanc, a Pinot Noir, a Cabernet Sauvignon, and a Carmenere. My personal favorite is the Heritage Red Blend. So do yourself, as well as the wine industry, a flavor, Gen Z. Experiment. Go grab 2-3 bottles. If you can, go to a proper wine shop, not just the grocery aisle. Don't get stuck in a rut. Do everybody a favor and experiment. You'll be a more interesting person for it. If you like what I had to say, you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, follow. My name is Hayden Stewart, best known on Instagram as The Angry Somm. And the series that I'm putting together isn't just going to be tangents about wine. It's going to have a lot to do with things around the wine industry and pairing, and not necessarily just with food, but with different activities, hobbies, people. Wine is fascinating. And more people should realize it. That's it. I quit. In the Apalta Valley.
Even when I was thin, I had a chin. Like I've always had.
This valley is just
Well, since I took
something
Rebecca's
else.
ears off till 1:45 after that,
After she had been like, I'm going.
Because in Atacama desert we have to